Hey everybody, I'm John from Legacy Woodworking Machinery, and today is class 3 on our Art to Part series. We're building this Utah Highway Patrol badge for a good friend of mine. We've done all the basic shapes. We can see that here in our 3D view. And now we're going to be working on all of the decorative pieces. So let's go ahead and add all those in. We're going to start again working from the back to the front. So the furthest most back piece, or the outermost back piece, are going to be these little dashes right here. So let's go to our design tab. We're going to use our angular shapes. I'm going to set this at a 60 degree. Okay, and we're going to put this on a subtract, which means it's going to go from the plane that it's on. It's going to go down instead of up. So instead of making points that come upward, it's going to go down. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and click on create. Okay, so what we've done, we've just added these little dashes in here that are going to go down in. Okay. With that one done, the next shapes are going to be our arrows. And so let's go ahead and work on those. We're going to go to our 2D view here. And now when we build these, we're just going to select one arrow and do like we've done everywhere else. We're just going to array it around the piece. So let's go ahead and build this one arrow. Now when building the arrow, what I wanted to do is make it look like an actual arrow. And so one of the things that I'd like to do on this one in particular is make sure that we are first in the arrowheads layer. And then we're going to just come up here, and I'm going to bring it to about maybe there, and then down to here. We're going to add and cut this arrow into two pieces to make it look like a pretty cool little arrowhead. So there's our first set of lines we're going to add to it. And we're going to go to our node mode here. I'm going to cut this away and cut this away. And I'm going to take this section here, and we're going to join that together. And then this one here, I'm going to use another tool called extend. That's this guy right here. And extend is going to allow me to extend this one till it touches that one, just like that. Okay. And we're just going to make sure that they're closed. There we go. Now we have a two-part piece that we can work on. So let's zoom in on our 3D view and let's see what we can build with this guy. So first things first, we're going to build this one. And this one's going to be pretty cool. We're going to do what's called a rotate and spin. So to make rotate and spin work, we're going to cut it right here in the middle. We're going to cut it right there. And then we're going to take the left side. So the right side of the model right here. And we're going to use this one here called spin. And it's going to say, we're going to do a turn, which is from start point to end point. It's going to rotate over, and we're just going to hit apply. And let's see what she does. She's going to give us that point right there, which looks pretty cool. I do like it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to scale it to an exact height, and we're going to make that height probably something close to 3/16 of an inch. Let's see what she looks like here. All right, that is kind of what I'm looking for, and we might change that a little bit more. We'll see in a minute. Okay, now with that portion done, we're going to use now the outer piece. And the outer piece, we're going to draw it, and then we're going to lift up the back side to make it look like an arrow pointing down and in. So on this one, we're going to use the angular shape. We're going to make it probably something close to a 45 degree angle. And then I'm going to limit it. And this time I'm going to limit it to inches. And I'm going to say, let's make this like 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and it's going to look something more like that. Okay, the flat's a little too flat. I want to do a taller angle, so let's go with 60. I want a longer flat in there. That's a little better. Let's go with, let's try like a 75. I think a 75 will look really good. Okay, let's hit apply again. That's kind of the shape I want. Now what I don't want, of course, is that this guy's disappearing into there. And so we're going to change this to like about 1/8. Doesn't need to be very tall. I want it a little bit smaller so I can lift the backside up. Okay, here we are. We look good. We've got a little problem here with the blending of everything because we have an ad on top of another piece here. And so we have to figure out how we handle this. Now, the problem is I want this piece here to merge into this piece here. And if I merge them, then what happens is they'll all disappear down into the base of here. So I have base star. So to make this work, we're going to come over to our Components tab. We're going to right click here and we're going to go insert a new level. And this level, we're going to rename this one. We're going to call this the arrows and points. Arrows and points. Okay, so that's this one. Now I'm going to take these two components, these last two, which I forgot to rename, so we can rename them now. We're going to take this one and we're going to rename it. This is going to be the shaft of arrow, or arrow shaft. Okay, and this one here, we're going to rename arrowhead. You don't have to rename things, but it does make it kind of nice. So now what happens is that this level, which we can rename our base level, has all of our base components here. And now everything we're putting on top of something else, like these, for instance, we're going to say, I want this guy here to combine, merge, with the other one. And so now it's going to look kind of like this, more like an arrow. The only thing I want to do from this one is when I tilt up the back side, maybe bring that one in a little. Let's decide. Let's go ahead and play with it now that we can. Okay, so there's my arrow. I want to take maybe this guy here and squish him because I want to drop his Z height, but I don't want to do anything else. So I'm going to come to here, which is my shape height. I'm going to change it to an 8 and just see what it does. I want it kind of a little flatter, not quite so tall. Okay, that actually looks pretty good. I want to work with this one here, and I'm going to go back into my angular shape. I want to bring this one back to a 60. I do want a little bit more angle on that one there. That looks a little cooler. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that arrow. Now what I do when I have these all together is I'm going to take both of them. And what we'll do is we are going to go ahead and make them array around to the other 5 points. So just like before, when we were doing it in our 2D, we can do it in our 3D. Circular copy, rotation center of 0, 0. We're going to make 6 of them and we're going to copy it around. Okay. All right, so now we have our arrows on every piece. All right, this next piece here is kind of a neat little decoration piece to it. You know, just kind of a little line in there. And so we want to make it a little cooler than a line. So on this one, I'm going to bring it up. It's going to be radiused. And I want to kind of fix these ends here, though, because I don't want them to, I want it to be cut off, not radiused off right there. And so to do that, I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy and paste it. So there's one on top of the other one. And I go to my node mode. And all I want to do is pull both of these until they're parallel. Just like that. Okay. And let's pull this one out just a little bit more. So what they are is they're just going to be parallel with that line right there. Okay, and let's do the same thing on this side. So coming down, so it just kind of comes right off that line into there. And this one, so it comes right off that line into there. Now when we create this shape, what it will do is it'll give us these nice buttons here that we can cut off the end. So let's go ahead and do that. Go to our 3D view so we can see it happen. Zoom in nice and close. Okay. We're going to create a rounded shape. I'm going to make my rounded shape. Let's go to inches here, and we're going to go 1/4 inch tall. It's going to be an add because I want to apply it on top of the other one. Okay, I like it except for right here. Okay, we have this little bump in the middle. So sometimes create shape isn't the right thing to do. So let's Control Z that one. Get rid of that shape. Okay, and what we'll do is we're going to change the way we build this thing by doing a 2-rail sweep instead. So let's go to here. Okay. This time what we're going to do is we are just going to delete off this edge. Okay, so we're going to delete this end. Okay, and we're going to delete this end here. And what we'll do is we'll draw ourselves a line. Now this is just going to be a parallel line. And we're going to extend our vectors to this. And the reason we're doing this one is, again, I want to be able to cut it off right at the end point when I'm done. And we're going to grab a circle. We're going to create a small circle here. Doesn't a whole lot matter the diameter of the circle. We just don't want a massive one. We're going to delete off the bottom half using our node mode. Again, this is back to vectors, 2D before 3D. We're going to grab these two pieces here. We're going to go to our 2-rail sweep. We're going to hit Use Selection. I'm going to grab this one and click here. And some of the things we're going to do is we're going to uncheck this box, this scale cross-section width. I don't want the cross-section to go taller between them. Okay, then I'm going to pin it here so it comes down to the bottom. Okay, and let's hit Apply. So now if we look at it, see how we don't get that bump at the top? It's going to all stay the same height, which is perfect. That's just the way I want it. So I'm going to hit Close. She's beautiful. And then I'm going to go back to my 2D view. Let's select that component. Let's move him up to arrows and stuff. Okay. And I'm going to hold down Shift, grab my completed one here, and I'm just going to cut it off right there. So we're just going to go trim everything outside of that, and it's just going to cut off both ends right there. So now we have this guy here, which is cut off based on the radius. Now we can take him and do the same thing we did before. So we can array copy. A lot of people ask, well, why don't you just do this all at once at the end? And you can, but I like to see it all kind of come together a piece at a time. So I like to array it when I can kind of see each piece and say, yep, I do like that. You know, and we're starting to build and build and build onto our model. Okay, now there are these little dashes right here. And those dashes, I try to figure out what would be really good to do with those. And those are going to turn into an actual toolpath. We're going to use a 15-degree V-bit to just line those up. What they are on the actual badge, having seen a couple of them since I decided to do this one, are just very small marks that just look like it's shining coming out of the middle. So we're going to put those in as just that. Okay. So now we're off to the middle section. Now this center section here, I want to do on its own layer again. I'm going to right click here and we're going to go to Insert a New Level. This is going to be called the center. Okay. Center of the badge. Okay. Now this one is a really cool section because there's lots of things going on, and how we're going to build it is all going to depend upon what's going on. The first sections are going to be pretty simple. It's going to be all these outer pieces, and we'll do them all at once as long as they don't overlap. You'll notice we're doing the balls separate. And there's a ball over here that's actually missing, so we're just going to mirror that one across. Okay, so we're going to grab these guys here, and we will do just like we've been doing. Go to our 3D view. Let's watch as this happens. We're going to raise it up, and we'll just go to inches and call it 0.25. You'll notice that a lot of times I'm going to make these close to always the same. Once I see something that I like, I'm going to try to keep it. And what I do want on this one is you'll notice that these do come up. And I want them that way because the balls will do the exact same thing. Those will also come prouder. So you'll see that happen on this. And that is what we want on this particular piece. So we're totally happy with it. We're going to leave it that way. This is going to be called flourish, or outer flourish, let's call it that. All right. Okay. All right, let's get the one piece that's missing, this guy right here. And let's do a quick flip horizontally. Boom. Now it's there again. And let's grab you, and you. Okay, now on these ones, all I want to do is lift them all the way up. So we're going to dome these ones. These are going to go a full 90. Let's just see what they do at a whole half circle. Okay. They look phenomenal. We're going to merge these ones, so if they overlap, they don't screw anything up. It looks like I'm missing one right in the middle, so I'll hold down Shift, grab that one too, hit Apply again. I want that one in the mix. Now it looks like maybe that one is not a closed vector. So go to our null mode here. And let's just look at that point right there. It's not in it. So we're going to go to here, say join. And let's see what it will do for us here. Okay, you coming up. Here we go. All right, there we are. So there's our balls section of it. Looks great. Now these two next pieces here, these are kind of the road that's going up there, some lines. Let's grab those ones. Let's deselect this. You can these two lines here in the middle. You can see them in our 2D view. They're going to be these two right here. Those are just going to lift up, just a straight flat lift. So here, I'm going to go up about an eighth. Okay, and we'll create that component that looks phenomenal. So it's going to look like this. And now we've got to build the lettering. And I like all the lettering done at the same time. And we're going to build this one with the same chamfer that I like done over on these ones, just because I like the way it looks. So we're going to go at 45. Okay, we're going to limit it to, let's say, 50%. Okay, and then we're going to give the base height about equal to the profile height, so about 0.7. So we'll do 0.075, and let's just see what that does for us. It should lift it up, give us a nice piece, and it looks great. Okay, here we are there. Now we have the beehive. The beehive's kind of a tricky little piece here because how do we want to build this to make sure it's going to look just right? And let's take a look at it in the 2D view and talk about what we can do to it. We could do a turn and spin if we connected these two and then cut it off halfway. We could do a 2-rail sweep, which would just start here and sweep that direction to give us some nice radiuses here as we built it. We could join it together and do a lift on the shape. Could also give it that. So there's 3 different ways we can build this piece. Let's start with the first way, which I'm going to try, which will be just the 2-rail sweep. So to build our 2-rail sweep, we can use the same half circle we have right there. We're going to go down to Shift. We're going to grab this one. Let's go to our 3D view. Go to our 2-rail sweep. Hit on Use Selection. Use Selection. And let's see what she's doing here. Okay, and then we'll grab this guy as a cross section. And let's just hit Apply. Okay, we get this right here, which is dang close to exactly what I want. So what I wanted to do maybe is lift up just a little bit higher than that. So I'm gonna go to my scale to exact height. And maybe not quite that high. Let's see what happens if we go to 3/16. Okay, that I can live with. That I kind of like. I like how the lines kind of disappear out here because it gives us somewhere to put our little doorway. What I'm a little concerned about is we're not quite low enough. Right here, you can see how we're not quite all the way to the bottom right here. And so I do want to do a little bit of some of that one. So we're going to take this and actually pull this down. So it's going to look a little bit more 3D, and we're going to see if we like it. And if we do, great. If we don't, that's okay too. So we're going to grab this piece right here. We'll do something fun called Distort, and that is this guy right here. I'm going to my Distort. I'm going to make a bounding box, and I'm going to apply that box. I'm going to have this box right here. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make this bottom line hit B, and I'm going to turn this into a Bezier curve. So Bezier curve this one. I'm just going to pull this point down here. Okay, now as I pull everything, see how that just kind of brings it down? Well, I'm going to bring that point over just a kiss because I think it belongs a little bit more over here. So let's do it. See what she looks like. All right, now that looks pretty cool. So let's go ahead and call that where we want it. We're going to now take this little guy, and this is our little doorway, right? We're just going to push it down in. So like before where we just lifted things up, I'm going to say just push this down like 1/8 of an inch and go subtract on this one. It's going to subtract it out. So we click on Create here. It's going to be pushed down in. It may not even need to go that deep. Actually, it's not terrible, so let's leave it. And then this guy, this is our top piece, so it's just going to come up and it's going to be on a merge. And this one will merge into the bottom of this guy, and we're going to go on this one 1/4 of an inch. See what it looks like. Hit Apply. Here we are. So we're looking like we've got a really cool little beehive there. Our last piece is this top little button right here. And this top little button is going to be a raise. Our last little piece is this button right here, and we're going to just lift it up with a Create Round Shape. I'm going to go about a 60 degree, and I'm going to limit this one on a percentage. to, let's not even limit it. Let's just change that to a merge. And let's hit apply and let's see what it does for us here. Now what I like is that it's there. What I don't like is it's a little too low, and you can see that from the side view here. So what we'll do to that one is we're going to bring it up about 1/8 of an inch on the flat. Okay, let's apply that one. Okay, maybe let's go to a 16th. Now, like if you've been to any of my training classes or you've worked with me ever one-on-one, I like to call this kind of the Bob Ross method. This is your happy little treat. You're going to build this how you like it, and whatever it's going to be. As long as you're happy with it, I'm happy with it. Okay, so there is our piece that finishes out our badge. There are a couple little pieces here that we're going to V-Carve in. I'm not going to worry about that because this is a 3D modeling class. So here's our badge. We're looking great. Happy with it. Let's kick this off, kick off our vectors, and here's our total badge. Now, at this point, we go to our components. We're going to do this one more time where we insert a new level. And on this new level here, we're going to go to our design tab, and we're going to use this button here called create a component from a visible model. The reason we do this is it takes this entire badge and makes it one model. So it's not a whole bunch of small pieces that we're going to be working with. It's one complete piece. Now by unchecking all of these, we can turn these off. And now we just have one model that has everything built into it. Our last step is to go back into here, and we're going to add our dome to our model. So here's our piece. She looks beautiful. We're going to come down here to our modeling tab, or our modeling layer. We're going to grab a circle, and we're just going to draw a big circle right there. Okay, let's center our circle in our part. Okay, let's make this a full 30 inches. And we're going to lay this badge on a dome. If you've ever seen a police badge or anything like that, it usually has some type of a radius to it. Right now this is boring and flat, so let's go ahead and add that into it. So we'll turn back on our vectors. We're going to select this guy right here. I'm going to go to a dome, and I want it to go to inches, and I'm going to bring this thing up 3/8 of an inch. So over the entire dome, it's just going to be a 3/8 of an inch dome. We're going to click on create. Okay. And now all we've done is just given it a little bit of a curve. Now we can look at this one and we can say, you know, that's pretty small curve. Let's just rotate this up so we can see it. See, we have all of our model just kind of on a nice curve right here. So we're going to actually push it up just a little higher. So let's throw caution to the wind, and we're going to make this thing a full 3/4. Okay. All right. That now looks about the curvature that I wanted. You have a nice curve like you would see in an old Western movie, or in this case, the Utah Highway Patrol. From here, we're going to take our model, and again, we have that all as one, so it's just this component, this one massive component. We're going to right-click on it, and we're going to go to our Move To, and we're going to say the front, so we can always see that model. We're going to take this one, turn it off for a minute. I want to grab this guy here, and I want to put a border around it so I can then trim off the dome. So go back to our design tab. We're going to use this button right here, create a vector boundary. Our boundary's been made. Back to our components, turn this back on, hold down. We're going to click this one, hold down this, click on our outside border, go back to design, delete everything outside of it. And now we have a nice, beautiful badge that's on the curvature and everything else. One more time, we create a new level and make our component from our visible model. Now we have a flat badge and we have a curved badge, and we can decide what we want to do with each one of them. So this one here, I'm going to rename as finished badge. It's now ready to be used in anything that you want, really. So we're going to select it. Back to our design. Now we can export this. We can do all sorts of stuff. So if I go to this one, export model as a STL, I can close the flat plane on the back, and I can triangulate that model. So it's going to build a 3D STL file, which can be imported, used, emailed, shared, whatever you want with it. So here it is. Okay, we're going to save our triangulation. Okay. And this one we're going to save right on my desktop. We're going to call this UHP badge 3D file. Okay, there it is. And we are done. We have this wonderful UHP badge, which is finished and ready to go. You can take here, we're going to file, increment, and save. So we have this done. Now, this is a bit longer of class today. If you've made it this far, do you have any questions, drop a comment below, give my video a like. If you have anything else you'd like me to do, let me know. My number here is 800-279-4570. Thank you guys so much. You have a great rest of your day. Bye now.